The 6th generation iPad mini is clearly compact. The tablet has a smaller form factor than the 5th generation iPad mini, since it is shorter but has a bigger, higher resolution screen than its predecessor. The iPad mini 6 is consequently adorable. Follow along as we discuss our 6 initial thoughts on the iPad mini 6. Design. There are no home buttons or rounded edges like on the iPad Air or the iPad mini 6. And the only connector is a USB-C Type-C connector, the same as the iPad Air. The iPad mini 6 comes in a broader variety of colors than previous iPad models. In addition to silver and space gray, Apple now offers the mini in purple, pink, Starlight, and the space gray we tried. The iPad mini 6's 7.7 by 5x3 by 0.25 inch frame is significantly smaller. The iPad mini 6 is also very light, weighing just 0.65 pounds. Because of its light weight, it is incredibly simple to use with just one hand, which most high-end tablets lack. The most glaring aspect of a phone design is the camera layout. More significant than the camera layout is the type of sensors lying in that module. Later, we'll discuss the different lenses packed onto the iPad mini 6 and how good they are. Keep watching! Another modification that the iPad mini 6 acquired from the iPad Air is the lack of a headphone jack. For anybody who uses Bluetooth and enjoys AirPods, that is completely reasonable. If you still like wired headphones though, you'll need a USB-C to headphone adapter. Display. 2266 by 1488 pixels are displayed at 326 pixels per inch on the iPad mini 6's 8.3-inch screen. The iPad mini 6 and the iPad Air support wide color and true tone, providing vibrant, accurate colors. True tone adjusts the display's white balance to match the ambient light, resulting in a more comfortable viewing experience. For example, when you're in a room with yellow lighting, the iPad mini's display brightens in color to avoid a dramatic contrast between the iPad's color and the lighting. If you've made it this far, you find this video very interesting. Why then have you not subscribed yet? We produce content like this all the time, so you'll certainly not regret it. Remember, post notifications grant you front row access to our videos, so turn it on too. A 500 nit brightness, 1.8% reflexivity, and an anti-reflective coating are also included on the iPad mini 6. Apple claims that fingerprints can't stick to the screen because it has an oleophobic coating.
But wait, there's still more!
Camera. Compared to the iPad mini 5's 8-megapixel/2.4 aperture camera, the 12-megapixel 1.8 aperture camera in the iPad mini 6 is a significant upgrade. In addition to a 50% increase in the camera's resolution, it also collects 50% more light, resulting in clearer and more noise-free images and video clips. Since the iPad mini is smaller than the other iPads, it's easier to take photos with it. It's hard to believe that the front-facing camera can now support center stage, but it does. In third-party programs like Zoom or FaceTime, center stage automatically pans the camera to keep you in the center of the frame. Zooming in on a gathering of individuals ensures that all of the subjects are easily recognizable. The camera follows you throughout the environment, capturing your every move. Solid camera output depends on the performance of the chipset in areas like image processing, shutter speed, and more. We'll later in the video discuss the standard the iPad mini 6 presents in this area. There are some great video recording features on the iPad mini 6. You can record 1080p slow-mo at 120 frames per second or 240 frames per second. You can also record 25, 30, and 60 FPS in either 1080 or 4K resolution. Battery and charging. According to Apple, the iPad mini 6 battery would last up to 10 hours on a single charge. A 19.3 watt-hour battery powers the iPad mini 6. On a Wi-Fi based battery test, the iPad mini 6 could last more than 10 hours, which is remarkable given the number of pixels to illuminate. The larger iPad 9 has a slightly longer battery life than the smaller iPad mini 6. We believe this is due to the iPad 9's bigger battery capacity. What do you get when you mix a Christmas tree and an iPad? Pineapple. Performance. According to its founder, Steve Jobs, the reason that Apple can create products like the iPad is that we've always tried to be at the intersection of technology and the liberal arts. Of course, we all know this won't be achieved on a mediocre performance device. So let's see how the newest iPad holds up. Only the iPad Pro with the M1 chip outperforms the iPad mini 6 in terms of computing capability. Increasing the number of open tabs will not cause any lag. No stuttering occurs when trying to multitask with the gadget. Enable Touch ID, power button. As with the iPad mini 5, the iPad mini 6's Touch ID power button uses the same scanning technology as the iPad mini 5's Touch ID home button. Additionally, Touch ID may be used to open apps, unlock the iPad, and make payments with Apple Pay, among other things. On the iPad mini 6, Touch ID works in both portrait and landscape modes. Siri may be activated by holding down the Touch ID power button. Pricing and availability. The new iPad mini 6 from Apple is great for their money. There is a $100 price difference between the iPad mini 6 and the previous model, which is $499 from Apple and other shops. Start with a 256GB model if you plan on taking many photos and selfies, as the 64GB model is clearly inadequate. Apple's second generation $139 pencil is not included in these prices. So, that's the essential update on the iPad mini 6 hardware. But what's new about iPad OS? The company recently introduced Stage Manager in its iPad OS 16 beta release earlier this year. It promises the ability to manage application windows, much like Samsung's DeX and Microsoft Windows. We covered it in much more detail in this video. iPad OS 16 Stage Manager. What you don't know yet. You'll definitely find it interesting. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you later.